Hey, welcome to this week's podcast. We're so glad that you have chosen to join us again. As you know from last week's podcast, we are starting this series that we are calling Sow a Seed. And so today we have a couple of special guests with us. We've got Tyson and Meredith Kendall, and they are going to share a little bit about themselves, but also about their story and how they use that money that we gave to all the people in the church to sow a seed into the community. And so thank you guys for being here. First of all, let's start by getting to know you guys just a little bit. How long have you lived in Missoula now?
Yeah, so we moved to Missoula in March of 23. So we're closing in on almost 3 years total. So yeah, it's gone really fast. We came from Eastern Washington for a job opportunity, and we found River in April of 24. And then we've been coming to River since then.
Okay, yeah, perfect. And so how did you find River?
Yeah, so funny story. We went to a couple other churches, and we Googled different churches, and River Life came up. It was one of the first churches, and we actually went through. I read a lot on your guys' church and what you believed before we kind of attended, and then we came on a Sunday, and we just got introduced with Bev, and she dragged us right over to Jonathan, and we got really plugged in right away, which was awesome. And then it's just been such a family feel for us. Like we've made awesome friends and really grown in the church together.
That's awesome. Now I'm going to cheat a little bit because you guys have been in our life group, so I know a little bit more of that too. When you guys started to come, it was during a marriage series. Is that correct?
Yes.
So talk a little bit about that, because I know that at life group you'd kind of mentioned that was.
That was kind of just a very, like, the Holy Spirit was most definitely working in that time frame for us. So we were really excited. Like Tyson had said, we had tried a couple different churches, but nothing was like really clicking. We just didn't really feel that church family vibe from anyone yet. And so we were kind of like hesitant, we had tried a few, and so we're like, I wonder what he's gonna preach about, and it just happened to be week 1 of the marriage series.
Yeah.
And obviously we were only a year into marriage as well, so we were like, what perfect timing.
Yep.
Yeah, and just to add on to that too, I believe it was the Leave and Cleave series, or part of that sermon. And at the time we got married in April of 23, and we moved. It was 10 days later. The moving trucks were there to come to Missoula, and so it really spoke to us really well as far as how we felt, because we were really missing family for that first almost year plus. We were really doing it on our own. Wow. And when we got here, it was like, oh man, how cool of a series to walk into. And it just made us feel like the calling was really there, and the Holy Spirit was really guiding us here. And and then here we are today, just still rocking the church. And we just have such a love for everybody here, and everybody's just taking care of us and just supported us as our family's grown now. And we've really been in life groups between the marriage group and then YAM as well. So,
got pregnant while you were here.
Yep.
And had the little sweet little girl since then.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, and that's and you were able to take quite a bit of time off with that then too.
Yeah, I was very blessed with my company. I was able to do 6 weeks with Meredith at home, which was amazing. It was just a great time to just connect as a family, and with the life changes that happened. And she's just been such a blessing.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
It was great. And then especially I feel like going through the marriage series and the marriage group really prepared our marriage for having a baby. And then right after we delivered Addison and she was born, the way that our River family showed up for us in that time, how many hands that we had, because obviously moving away from family, it was just the two of us. So, having some extra meals, having some extra help, it was incredible. We couldn't have done it without them.
Love that.
Yeah.
Love to hear that. So you're part of the problem with the nursery.
Yeah.
Growing the
Added
nursery.
to the nursery. Yeah. Keeping Logan employed. Yeah.
Some job security.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. Well, we're so excited for you guys. Well, so now we've been kind of just talking a little bit about that. We walked through that season where the church felt like we had this money saved, and then God said, give it away. And so we did, and we gave some of it to Teen Challenge and to Coastal Church in Florida, and then some of it is still set aside for Malawi. But part of that was giving that $10,000 to the people and just saying, use it and tell us what you did with it. And so we got lots of stories that came in, but I think maybe we talked about it at Life Group or something. You had shared a little bit about what you guys had done with that. So talk to me a little bit about what you got, was that odd for you to go to church and have them give you an envelope of money, or?
Yeah.
So I talked to my dad about your sermons. When he comes to town, he loves to like come to church and stuff with us. And so I remember calling him on the way home from church that day, and I was like, "Dad, church gave us money." And he was like, "What?" Like, he was like, "What do you mean they gave you money?" And I told him the story. He goes, "Well, typically you go to church and you give them money." And so when I had told him about it, he goes, "Well, you guys really need to like pray about it and really like think and reflect and like really make sure you know what you're being called to do with that money. Like, this is an incredible opportunity, you know." Yeah. You need to make sure you're using it wisely. And so that's what we did. We got our envelopes from Miss Tara, who's not here anymore. We miss her a lot. From Miss Tara and Tiana. And I just remember we kept those envelopes sealed for a couple days. We were like, we really want to like think about this and really make sure we're doing the right thing. And so they sat on our kitchen table, and we would like walk past them, or like we'd have dinner and we just kind of like eyeball them and like, we're not quite sure. And so what we had decided is that Tyson was going to think and pray about his envelope specifically, and I was going to do the same. And whether we were brought together to use them together, or we were, called to do them separately, we just wanted to give it some time. Mm-hmm. And so we did. And so Tyson came to me a couple days later, I think it was maybe like the following week, and he was like, "I know what I'm going to do with my envelope." And I was like, "That's interesting, because I think I know what I'm going to do with mine too." And at the time I was still pregnant with our daughter. And so I felt a calling to kind of just maybe find a need for like some expecting women in our community, or like I was kind of like honed into that. And he was like, "Well, I really want to like give back to like I guess I don't want to speak on your behalf."
No, yeah, you're fine. Yeah, so we were really connected, and I would even take it one step further. When I'll never forget, we drove away, and we do a thing. We were coming on Saturdays at the time, and we would do a Saturday date night after church. That was like a dedicated time where we would go do dinner, and I think we were heading to Freddy's, and we were just really connected, like, hey, I think we kind of know what we want to do, but we're not 100% sure yet. Yeah. But we always seemed pretty in sync of like, this is something similar we want to do, which was, giving back to the community in the shape of like toiletry needs or those kind of needs. And we both felt very similar as far as that goes. And then, the opportunity we were at the church service when Jamie got the check, which was amazing for Teen Adult Challenge, and just seeing how much, how grateful she was and everything as far as that goes. So it was really, after a couple days gone by, it was a really easy decision for us as a couple. We're like, hey, let's give back to this. And Meredith kind of took a strong lead on what she did next. So
yeah. So at the time, obviously, we were expecting our daughter. So we were like anticipating me losing my salary and things. So we kind of had a conversation of like, how can we like extend our money? Mm-hmm. What's ways that we can save here or maybe earn extra dollars here. So I really got into couponing. Oh yeah. And so I was like, well, we have this money. What if we double this money without actually getting money? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what are ways we can, multiply this? So Tyson got $50 in his envelope, and I got $30 in mine. So we had $80. We ended up spending $82.16 or something like that. Yeah. But we ended up purchasing like $167 worth of goods.
Nice. Good work with the coupon.
Yeah, it was actually a lot of fun too. But the way that their website was set up on the Adult Teen Challenge, they have like a reoccurring list of like things that they're needing. So I was kind of like looking at that, and then kind of just comparing it with the coupon books and the ads that were coming out each week. And I was like, we can do this. So it was really fun to just multiply it, to see money that we were given, and then to, find some extra money through some coupons and things. So we had a couple bags worth of stuff that we ended up taking down to the campus. And that was just really, I think that was a really cool part of it, is to like see, we had a little seed, we grew it a little bit, and then to be able to plant it at the campus and watch it grow some more was really awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And then Jamie was just so welcoming when we got there. We went on a full tour of the campus, which was amazing. She took us through the lobby. She went to the kitchen. Like, we got to meet some of the staff and then the people there. And it was really awesome. And just how appreciative people were. And I'd say one thing that we both reflected as we kind of were talking through that is like how good it felt just to give and have the opportunity to give, because sometimes, financially you're not always there to give, and you can't do that where services, but it was so cool to fill some sort of a need for somebody.
Yeah. I love that. So, and that was, obviously that was kind of the point of what we were trying to do is get people to a place where, it's one thing to say, hey, you should look for opportunities to help, but oftentimes people aren't in a position where they've got extra.
Right.
And so, but there is something about once you've done it, being in a position where you start to realize, man, that felt really good to be generous, even if it started with money that was found money, so to speak. But then also that's one of the things that we're finding is there's a lot of people that have realized, hey, there's power in generosity, right? So you guys took a tour of the campus.
Yep.
You saw that they were in the middle of building.
Yes, correct.
Right? Because they're now, Adult and Teen Challenge is now adding the ability to take children.
Yep.
Which was not a thing before. And so with that, they've doubled the size of their lot, and they're building, spaces, moving offices, I think, and doing some other stuff. But so with that, the start of it was, we got this $80.
Yeah.
We're going to go double it with coupons, and we're going to go buy some groceries.
Yep.
And then you take a tour and tell me about that. Like, what did that do for you?
Yeah. So it opened up our eyes, and I'm very blessed in the opportunity that I have with my job and what we're able to do. So Jamie walked us, and this is in January timeframe, if I remember correctly. So we walked across, and they just got the property, the other side of that little road. And they're talking about the office space. And I was like, hey, there's more that we can do here. And I have an outlet for that. And we kind of started talking about that. And she's like, really? And I was like, yeah, we could do this. And there's certain money that's available. My career allows me to give back to the community in that regard.
Can we give a plug for where you were?
Yeah, so I'm the store manager at Lowe's. Yeah. So I'm the store manager at Lowe's. And so, we were able to, talk with Jamie. And they were just in the process of building, and she was telling me about how many people have already stepped up to help out with this. And, it was just such a cool opportunity. So me and Jamie just started talking more and more, and then, of course, Addison came along, so it kind of died down. But just recently, we were able to kind of talk over, we're going to be doing a $2,500 donation from Lowe's to help with the exterior paint project as far as it goes. And then we're also looking for some associates to go donate some time there just to help paint and really just keep the project moving as far as that goes. So, yeah, it's super exciting. Just what we were able to start with $80 collectively together. And here it is, expanding and helping in a different way. And that's just what, even Jamie, I was talking to her just recently, and just what God's able to provide, right? Like, we put it in his hands, and like, hey, this is what we're able to do as a community. And then even just what we were able to do with a small amount, and we were able to double it. And now here we are doubling it down again and being able to partner in that.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I love that.
I will say, getting the opportunity, Miss Jamie, she's awesome. Oh
Yes.
my gosh. I adore her so much. Like, the tour that she gave us, like, being able to walk through the facility, and like, they are so resourceful in the way that they use their storage, like, and things to make sure that everyone has a comfortable, safe space. And like, just getting to walk through that, like, when we got in the car, I told them, I was like, it almost feels like there's like, the building's like not on fire, but it feels like there's a fire in there. Like there's something burning. Like, and that was like really the first time in my life that I'd really felt like the Holy Spirit moving in other people's lives.
Yeah.
And like, just seeing all the women, and like, every single soul there had a smile on their face. They were just happy and just so grateful for everything. Like, oftentimes I feel like that we get caught up in our own lives, in our own world, and that we kind of like lose sense of that sometimes. But like, it was an incredible thing to just walk through there and just to see all those women and how hard each one of them are working in their own journeys.
Yes.
Like, it was something I'll never forget. It was awesome.
Yeah.
And I love that because again, you look at the way that it all worked out, right? So that it started with just, you guys making a decision.
Yeah.
You came to church, you saw that was maybe, I don't know if you'd been here when Adult and Teen Challenge had presented before or not.
One time, only one time. Yeah.
Okay. So you kind of knew who they were.
Yep.
You saw that they had a need. You both got on the same page, decided to go and and do whatever you could do to try and help that. And then
Yeah.
God uses that to open the door.
Absolutely.
And for them, I mean, what was an $80 donation, multiplied multiple times, and even just awareness. I mean, you guys wouldn't have gone to the campus
Correct.
had
Right.
it not been for having the opportunity to give that little extra money and groceries and whatever.
Yep.
And so it's really cool how God orchestrates stuff.
Yeah. And I think, it goes back to what the church talks about a lot, which is service and really putting our money where the mouth is as far as it goes. And hey, go plug in and find a need somewhere in Missoula, because there's so much more out there too. Like, we're, scratching a surface in one area, but this is one building that's being impacted where there's, thousands of people that need to be impacted here. And, if we can all just really come together and just in the big church scheme of things and really find those impacts there, we can really travel it a long way.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's amazing. So, so for Lowe's is going to come alongside,
Yep.
take care of the inside and exterior paint, $2,500 worth or whatever that was.
Yep.
And maybe some free labor.
Yep. Yeah. Some additional. Yeah.
Cool.
So I have some associates who've already volunteered to go help. I talked to them already, and
That's awesome.
They're excited to just plug in. And that's the really cool part about my company as well, is we're able to do give back time of 8 hours. So, per associate, and we have about 145 associates. So it's pretty powerful what we can do. And that's paid time for them to go and help somewhere in the community.
That's awesome.
So we're really trying to make an impact as well as far as that goes too. Yeah.
That's really cool. It's really cool to see God open up doors that we wouldn't have even thought to knock on. Right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, let's take, in the closing moments of this, let's take a moment and will you guys just give me, as a couple that's fairly new to River, if there was other people that were just starting to come to River, what would your advice be, as far as, because you've done a good job at connecting.
Yeah.
And I know there are people that sometimes aren't, that they'll sit on the fringe.
Sure.
And so like if you had just a couple of minutes to just share, like this would be our advice if you're new.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say two things come to mind. Stay consistent in coming to church, and whether you go to Saturdays or Sundays, try all of them. Because each, with Saturdays, you only, the band is not as big, whereas on Sunday you get more of the musical production. Obviously still the same message and whatnot, but definitely stay connected or stay consistent with coming. That's a big thing, and then each service that you go to, you'll meet new people. But I would definitely suggest getting connected, finding someone, or even, at the end of worship, Pastor Seth is always saying, turn around and greet your neighbor. Your neighbor has some connections here at church. Like, find your neighbor and really, reach out if you haven't found those opportunities yet. Because specifically for us, when we got connected to our YAM group, that has been life-changing for us. It led to our baptisms, it led to our daughter, and things like that. So if you haven't found those connections yet, find someone who does.
That's really good.
Yeah. I would say really there's, and I don't remember what sermon it came out of, but just praying for God to open your heart. Like, that would be the biggest thing, and listen to the message deeply. We were very fortunate. The first message we walked into really applied to us, and maybe that's not the case for everybody, and we realize that too. But there's something to pull from every message, and really allowing God to open. And then find Bev, because she'll connect you if you're not willing to get connected. She'll find you and she can connect you. But no, seriously, I think that was the big thing, is us just getting comfortable saying, hey, we're really searching for this, and if you open your mind and you open your heart to that and give it to God, He's going to place you where you need to be. And I think that would be the biggest thing and then, all of a sudden everything just really fell in place for us. We were just about to leave that first day, and then she grabbed us, and, now we have best friends for life.
Yeah. And on top of that, she encouraged us to come back that next week, and we came back that next week, and we still didn't know anyone. She came and she sat with us each week until we got connected. We owe a lot to her. She is amazing. And like Tyson said, she's got a connection with everyone. So if you don't find anyone, just find her. She'll get you where you need to go.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, I love that you guys connected right away with YAM.
Yep.
You jumped in on another life group, on our life group. And then you jumped right into hosting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and obviously now with the little
Yeah.
one, it's been a little season of not doing that.
Right.
But I think all three of those things
Yeah.
are helpful. You set yourself up with a couple of small groups where you could make actual relationships. So when you walk into the building,
Yes.
you're good chance you're going to see some people that you know.
Right.
And then you also put yourself out there to be hosts.
Yeah.
Which is another space where you kind of are setting yourself up to
Yeah.
to meet more people.
Yeah.
And so I really appreciate that about you guys. I think that's amazing.
Yeah.
And just even watching you, I know even Tyson, you just sharing some of your dreams
Yeah.
with us of some of the things that you feel God's laying on your heart, and just knowing where you've come from.
Yep.
And even as you were coming to church, it was, and maybe I'm speaking out of turn. It seemed like when you were first coming to church, it was kind of like, yeah, we should have church in our life.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like, hey, we're going to dive all in on this.
Correct.
But then watching as the Lord has changed your heart in that and really connected you.
Yeah. I come from a background where, we didn't necessarily grow up in church, and our parents let us kind of choose our own path. And, where Meredith was on the other side, where she went to church consistently. And, when we started coming, and I give a lot of kudos to Meredith because she's the one that really pressed it to, hey, we need to find something. And I'm like, okay, let me do the research first, right? The typical, let me check this out. Yeah, right? And so, we went through the steps, and we really listened to you guys and talking before we walked in the door. And we kind of had an idea of who the pastors were, yourself, we kind of checked some things out. And then when we got here, it just opened up, right? Like it was just, and that's why when I say, it took time for me to really pray, like, hey, open my heart to these things. And then it did open up for me. And, it really was like, hey, it's right in front of you. And, now it's like what I want to do and continue to expand knowledge. And then, we've kind of talked about maybe going to school for that kind of style stuff, so then we can do life group hostings and stuff, because that it means the world to us, like the friendships we've made. And
Awesome.
But ultimately, in the bigger picture is, making Jesus famous and bringing people to him for Savior.
So good. Well, man, I really appreciate you guys taking
Yeah.
the time out of your schedule to come and sit and talk to us. It's exciting to hear not only about the sowing of the seed, but
Yeah.
just getting to know you guys a little bit more. And we're pumped to see what God's going to do next. So thank you guys.
Yeah,
Thanks for
absolutely.
having
No,
us.
thank you so much. Yeah, it means a lot to be in River Life and what it means to us as a couple. So
It's awesome. Very cool. Well, thank you for joining us again this week. And next week we'll have another story of some seed that was sown. And I just would like to encourage you. The more you lean into generosity, the more you're gonna find the heartbeat of God, because that's absolutely who He calls us to be as a church. So thanks again for joining us for This Is How We Are. This is how we roll. This is how we are. This is what else? I don't know what I'm supposed to say right there. Dang it! Blooper! There it is. Thanks for joining us for This Is How We Roll.